No.
So there you go. I got your alibi all lined up.
You got it all lined up.
Gave her life.
So, do either of you watch Better Call Saul?
Yes.
If you watched the latest one?
Yes.
Okay, the last one that was on.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to do any spoilers.
There's only been 2 episodes, so yes.
Yeah. I'm not going to do any spoilers. But I think, now tell me if this is presumptuous or self-aggrandizing, but I think for the close of the last Better Call Saul, they had to have heard a story from me, which I don't think I've told on the podcast, but I've told to a lot of friends.
Okay.
And when Jonesy saw it, Jonesy said, they got this idea from you. Now, I want to make it very clear. I don't believe they stole the idea. I don't believe they owe me anything for the idea.
No.
And what they did with the idea was but I think that maybe
a story going around.
A little bit of my life has fallen into Better Call Saul. And by the way, Better Call Saul, Bob Odenkirk, not my favorite actor. Saul, my least favorite character in all of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
No interest in watching Better Call Saul. Watched the last season, last year. Bob Odenkirk, I can't think of better acting than I've seen than Bob Odenkirk.
Nice.
And the show, Better Call Saul, is better than Breaking Bad. More rich, more interesting, more surprising, better performances. Bob Odenkirk, who was just like, comic does weird stuff. I like him, sure, fine, okay.
Right.
I didn't have anything against him, but just he was a comic to me. And then with Better Call Saul and Fargo, I believe that we don't have better than Bob Odenkirk. Except for Mark Rylance, but that's a whole different.
Yeah, it's a different deal.
He's
right now, just thriving on television.
Right now, Mark Rylance should move into Copperfield's Museum. That's how good he is.
Put him in a box, really nice lighting.
To be curated and be remembered forever.
Are you hoping? Because that's the only one that's the only thing I thought you would find interesting about the Oscars is that Mark Rylance is nominated for an Oscar.
Oh, is he?
Yes, he's nominated for Best Supporting.
Well, anytime he's nominated for anything, he should win it.
Right.
I just don't think you can get better than
He's
him.
competing against Sylvester Stallone.
No, he's not.
He is.
Don't say
Is
wrong
it
shit
a
on
boxing
purpose.
match? Because otherwise,
Sylvester Stallone
By the
plays
way,
Rocky again.
By the way, in a boxing match, Mark also wins.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the Creed, the movie Creed came out.
Yeah.
Was not a lot of Oscar buzz.
Yeah, okay. But I heard it's really good.
But they found the one white actor in it and put him up for an Oscar.
There's just so much of that, though. I mean, it's wrong. It's wrong.
It is wrong. I think like it's wrong. Here's the thing. I'll segue it this way. Donald Trump and Hollywood are making the same guesses. I think what people don't realize is that the movie industry is panicking. You know, the movie industry is not in a fantastic place.
No.
You either have to make $1 billion superhero extravaganza that can sell internationally, or just don't.
Or go out of business.
Yeah, or go out of business. And so because of that, they've absolutely backpedaled to rely on white people. They
Yeah.
really have. They're scared. Like the only people that people will definitely come pay to see in the box office are not just white people in general, but these white people.
Yeah.
Like there's a list of like 20 white people
Yeah.
that the whole industry is riding on.
You don't even need the word white there.
Yeah.
They've chosen those people. And
Right.
once they've chosen those people, everyone else is out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just African Americans that are out, it's everybody
Everybody
else. And everybody else but those people.
Yeah. Because if you have a great idea for an independent film now, it's a TV pilot. And it's better off as a TV pilot.
Sure. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you're gonna get a Better Call Saul. If you have a really good independent film, you're better off trying to turn it into Better Call Saul.
Would have been a good independent film.
Yeah.
As a series, it is brilliant.
Right.
I think it's crossed over. So here's where they got from me. This also starts, like so many of my stories, I don't know why, maybe I do know why, I guess I can answer this, with failure.
Yeah.
I think it's because I have more experience with failure than with success.
Yeah.
Many years ago, Michael Godot, Paul Provenza, and I sold the show. I sold the show to the sci-fi network called Phi-Sci. Remember Phi-Sci?
Yeah.
It was Phi-Sci on sci-fi. And it was going to be the fiction of science as opposed to the science of fiction. And it was kind of like trying to do an early version of Bullshit.
Yeah.
Without Teller and without Star Price. Turns out we found out where all the talent in Bullshit was.
Yeah.
It was all Teller and Star
yeah,
Price
sure.
because we did a shitty show. A very shitty show that the network hated, and the network was right.
It's a really fun idea. We had a good time doing it.
Really fun idea. The idea was we were going to look into movies and deal. It was very much like Mythbusters, too.
Yes.
It was a failed Mythbusters, a failed Bullshit.
We were ahead of our time.
Yeah.
And one of the mistakes.
Or we sucked.
One of the mistakes. We had the idea.
Yeah.
That could have been Mythbusters and Bullshit and could have been Superstar idea, and we fucked it up. Mostly I fucked it up, and mostly I fucked it up by hiring Godot. And we had Provenza, too.
Yes, we did.
And here's one of the big mistakes I made is when we were going to team up with somebody. Like whenever there was going to be a Penn and Teller getting a director, okay? Teller would spend weeks and weeks and weeks vetting the person. He'd want to interview them and talk to them and do all this stuff. I was impatient with Teller's hypervigilance. So when I sold this show on my own, I said to everybody that would listen, the vetting process Teller goes through is a waste of time. The network is going to suggest someone to me to produce and direct and write with me, and I'm just going to say yes. The first one they suggest. I won't check anything. I won't even meet the person. I'll just say yes. And this was my experiment to show how stupid Teller was. See, I will do this show. It'll be hugely successful. And then I will say to Teller for all the rest of the time, you just waste your time. Anybody in show business will be competent on this. This is based on something else I've talked about Burt Reynolds' casting.
Yes, exactly.
Took the first person in. Everybody is competent in Hollywood, so we'll just go with that, right? So they gave me a person. I'm not going to say anything bad about the person that put this together, but we didn't hit it off. There was no understanding of the show I wanted to do. And I wasn't good. Now, they may have been good and I was so bad I took their good away. Or they may have been as bad as me. There's no way to tell. I could have fucked up this show alone.
Sure.
But I had the help of Michael Godot, Paul Provenza, the producer, the director, the designers. They all helped me fuck it up. But I'm just saying, I think I was necessary and sufficient to fuck this show up. I will take full blame and responsibility. I'm not sure if I was surrounded by a brilliant team, but it doesn't matter. I was taking this show in the dumper. One of the many reasons I was taking this show into the dumper and why it sucked was that I was exhausted. I was doing 5 other shows at the time.
Right.
And by the time we got to casting the woman who would be in this show with me, I hadn't slept for 3 days. And I was in Hollywood and I was casting. Were you in that casting
I was
session?
in the casting session.
The casting was with Sit Up High.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Godot, Provenz, me, and this other person were casting a group of women to come in and do this show. Now, I told this story just the other night to Andy Lerner, and Andy Lerner loved the line I used to billboard this, so maybe I'll put it in here now. I said there was a time in my life when I believe I lost touch with my community standards.
That's my community standards.
I lost touch with my community standards.
Okay.
I did not know what was acceptable and what was taboo. I was, this was the time of the Aristocrats, a little bit before the Aristocrats.
Okay.
And Provenz and I were kind of freewheeling. We were living an aristocratic life. Godot wasn't, but Provenz and I were.
Sure.
And there was a sense that, I wasn't obviously doing any drugs.
Right.
I wasn't drinking.
Right.
But I also wasn't sleeping. I wasn't living in any particular place. I had a house, but I was kind of free-floating. And I was just bouncing from meeting to meeting. I was essentially a speed freak who just wasn't doing any speed.
Aha.
I was living crazy. So we're in this room, and we had auditioned like 3 or 4 women. These are Hollywood actors who are going to be my co-presenter on this show. And we weren't really getting the kind of auditions we wanted to. So somebody in the room, I don't know whether it was the other guy or Provenza or even Godot, thought that one of the reasons it didn't feel right was they weren't sitting on the right height chair. Okay, that's the level of crazy we've gotten to.
That is a level of crazy.
That's, that might have been Provenza. Because my experiences with Provenza during that time were somewhat crazy.
Maybe Provenza was leading the crazy here. Provenza, by the way, is a genius.
Right.
Provenza is one of the funniest, smartest people that live. But Provenza is also crazier than a shithouse rat on every level. Somebody in the room said about the next woman coming in, maybe, now listen to this very carefully, man.
Okay.
Maybe we should get her to sit on a pie. Now, what he was trying to say was maybe we should get her to sit on a stool.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Or
we
bar
should
top
get her
chair.
to sit up high.
Up high.
Up high.
Up high.
But what he actually said was maybe we should get her to sit on a pie. I became hysterical. I said, of course, instantly, good thinking. We should get her to sit on a pie. And then I had an episode that was completely unprofessional. The kind of episode you would expect Charlie Sheen on all his drugs to have.
Yeah.
A completely sober, exhausted man was having. You could call it an episode of laughing. Others, I think in the medical community, might have called it a nervous breakdown. But I could not stop laughing. And the next woman that came in, when she sat down on the stool, I couldn't look at her without being hysterical. So she came into the room for an audition, and the person who was producing and writing and co-hosting with her could not even speak a sentence because he was laughing so hard. And every time she moved on the chair, I get laughing more. And all I would say was, sorry, I'm really sorry. And then they tried to get her through her audition. Now, I would love someday to find the woman who went through that audition. She's probably, it's probably Scarlett Johansson, probably a superstar now, who looks back and says, the worst audition of my life was when I went in with this man who was having a nervous breakdown. And so we decided, because Penn was mentally ill, that we couldn't finish auditions that day. And we sent Penn home.
Really?
There was only one more to do or something, and they did without me or something. But Penn was sent home. And Penn was sent home with the directions to get some relaxation and some sleep. You've been working too hard. So I called two friends, women friends, and they came over to the Slammer here, where we're broadcasting from right now. And they came over just to hang out, have a good time, laugh. Very good friends of mine, also from Hollywood. So they flew back with me. One of them from Hollywood, one of them from New York. And I told them this story hysterically. And I said, it would be really funny if we sent everybody on the crew a picture of someone auditioning while sitting on a pie. Would that be great?
Man.
Would that be fabulous? Would that be fabulous? And then one of them, because she's a genius, said, well, it would have to be naked, right? And I said, yeah. Because anytime anybody says it would have to be naked, the only answer is
yes.
Yeah, of course. So first thing we did was we stripped naked. And the woman who got the original idea said, you've got some razor burn, so I'll be the one who'll be naked. You'll be taking the pictures.
What a thoughtful lady.
Thoughtful lady. And then we put our clothes on, and we all went to Marie Callender's. And we bought 15 pies. Because we didn't know which one would be best. Now remember, in Better Call Saul, he says we didn't know which pie was going to be best.
Yeah.
Right? So we bought 15 pies.
Yeah.
We bought chocolate cream, turns out bad, banana cream. We bought raspberry, blueberry, pecan. We bought pretty much every pie they had.
Guido, you know the result of this story already?
I do not.
Okay, cool, good. I want to for our listeners, I'm trying to think what I think would make the best pie photo. Okay.
Okay.
Do you have an answer to that question?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So we got all of this happened. I guess it was the next day. It must have been the next day because it was daytime.
You don't know. You were delirious. You weren't sleeping like you were ordered to.
We were worried
It's all
about-
been one day for you.
We were worried about losing light, is
Sure.
all I know. And if I had the audition,
We're losing light, people. Let's go. We got pies to sit in. Let's do it.
I'd flown back with her. I'd flown back from L.A. So we couldn't have auditioned and flown back and then be worried about losing light. It must have been I went to sleep, woke
Yeah.
up the next morning with this.
Still thought it was a good idea. Good
So-
solid 8 hours. Woke up, decided it was still a good idea.
I had two women, 15 pies, and daylight. And we put a chair out in the middle of this courtyard here, and we opened up the pies. And she was very concerned that her sitting area
Nice.
would look good in the pie. So then we were running around trying to find makeup, and we were putting a little bit of makeup to be all even.
As you
This
do.
is for you guys
And
are
I
pros. You guys are pros.
Just because
Losing light, little shiny.
our photographer was also naked,
Yes.
because that's the way you do it, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, if there had been drones at that time, you would have seen a pile of 15 Marie Callender pies. A woman, the woman who was the most bossy, who was going to also sit in the pie.
Sure.
And me. And then I decided that this is where it gets a little crazy. I wanted to send these pictures, okay, and these short videos to everybody on the crew. And I was afraid they would think that I'd found stock pictures somewhere.
By the way, because you brought up drones, let's just saying, well, pies aren't very aerodynamic. This is before drones, so you weren't using pies. Yeah. Okay.
But you hear what I said. I was afraid they would think it would be stock
Right.
footage, that I went and found a picture of a woman sitting on a pie to send out, and that I hadn't really done it. And that was obsessing me. So I had to take the actual audition script that we had. We had to find a printer, which was going to Kinko's.
Yeah.
Get our clothes on again, going to Kinko's, getting it printed so that I had the actual script that they would have known we did the audition.
This is where you are a superior artist to me. Once there's nudity and pies involved, I would not reclothe to go to Kinko's for anything.
I did.
I can't think of another location I would go to once I were in that situation.
And then we were, they decided I should be in it. So then we had to get it
took that long?
we got a very high seat. Okay.
Of course.
And we put
It's a pie.
A pie.
Yeah, to get
on a pie.
You get the pie, a pie.
And we on a lower level without the cameras around, we had her sit on a Boston cream pie, which was not attractive.
Right.
We had her sit on a chocolate pie, which was beyond not attractive.
Right. That's
Repulsive.
Yeah.
We tried pecan, and it was just
Yeah, no.
it had too much stability.
Do
You want to write
guess?
You want to write
I want a
predictions on the back
prediction
of
of this.
something?
Yeah, I want to
I wanna
predict.
go.
I have a prediction.
Okay.
You want to write it down?
Yeah.
Okay, here you go.
Okay. And we went. It's going to come out very soon what it is, and I've already eliminated 4 for you.
I know.
So-
Well,
but that's okay. I had my
we
guess.
were way ahead of you.
Yeah, we're ahead on that one. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And you got it written down here.
Yeah, I got mine written down.
And then we came upon Razzleberry.
Yeah.
Okay. And Razzleberry, when she sat on the Razzleberry, we had a couple extras of pies.
Okay.
We sat on the Razzleberry. It didn't look good. It didn't look like a pie. It looked like bad leather.
Yeah.
And then we got the idea of cutting a wedge out of the pie. So one piece of pie was taken out, and then she sat on it, and then you had all the Razzleberry goodness. So the winner is Razzleberry. I have here
That's from Goodell.
banana cream. No, not
No.
even close. We have here. What's that say?
Blueberry.
Blueberry. Close.
Close.
Razzleberry was the
I
winner.
would
I
not
was
have
way
gone
ahead
with
of
the fruit.
Goodell in the logic on that one.
And then we cleaned up her sitting area.
Sure.
Got that all cleaned up. And then we got in the sunlight. We got a higher chair up there, and we put the raspberry pie. We cut out a nice piece of the raspberry pie. I need to, do I need to say that there was a lot of laughter involved in
No,
this?
no, you do not.
And then I got the script, okay? And we first of all had me
I don't know what
naked.
Razzleberry is.
Razzleberry is, I think it's one of those things where they find a new name for a
I think
thing to
it's a
sell it.
mix of berries. I
It's
think.
a combination of berries.
Oh, so I'm a good percentage correct.
It's like shitberry, but then they changed the name of it to make it. Razzleberry is
Turned
my
out shitberry didn't sell.
favorite pie.
Chilean sea bass.
Yeah,
Chilean
exactly.
exactly,
Yeah.
which is called what? The dirt fish.
Yeah, something like that. It's something real gross.
Yeah, raspberry and blackberry is the raspberry.
Okay.
So you don't actually have blueberry. So we decided that I was funnier with my clothes on. So I put a shirt and tie on. So I looked just like I did in the audition. And then we couldn't get her height right, so I had to lean down on the floor. Then I had to lean the script forward, and then she had to adjust herself in the pie.
Toothfish.
What's that?
Chilean sea bass was called a toothfish.
Toothfish, yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't sit on a toothfish. And then I took the script and I held it in front of me, and she took the script and held it in front of her, and she was sitting on a pie, and we shot it from we couldn't shoot it from a low angle, so
Sure.
she'd be up high because you couldn't see much of the pie, but you could see her genitals and the pie, and,
Sure.
and the cut open area, and this, I mean,
Of the pie.
of the pie. Oh yeah, we didn't cut her. And we took, I don't know, 400 pictures.
Pre-digital, right?
Because there's no reshoots. You can't go back.
No, you can't go
You got to
back.
get every conceivable angle first time out.
And then she cleaned up. She went and took a shower, and we looked at all the pictures. And I picked. It was very important to me. It was some sort of challenge to me in my heart that I wanted everybody who was working with me on the crew to know that you could come up with sit on a pie, and that within 24 hours I could deliver a picture of that. Okay? It was kind of Celebrity Apprentice thing.
Sure.
Celebrity Apprentice, when I was working with
Yet
Lisa
another
Rinna,
TV show idea we could have had.
I really prided myself. And Lisa Rinna would say, we need the bass player from Paul Simon's Graceland. And I'd say, okay, and have him there within 4 hours. Mm-hmm. I was really proud of myself. On Celebrity Apprentice, I was the one who you just kind of go, we need Blue Man Group. Got him.
Right.
We
Right.
need Wayne Newton. Got him. Okay.
Right.
We need 20 showgirls, 5 clowns, and a saxophone player and a bagpiper. Done. We need 5 close-up magicians. Done. So I've always prided myself that we can get this done. Okay. So I wanted to send this picture. So we went through while she was showering. We went through all the pictures, and I found 2 or 3. And this is where I'd lost touch with my community standards.
Okay.
Sending that to Provenza, completely appropriate.
Right.
Sending that to Godot, completely appropriate. Sending it to the director, producer that I've been assigned by the Sci-Fi Network to work with, iffy. Sending it to the 75 people all involved in the production, wrong. It made the entire shoot really awkward.
Sure.
Well, sure, you say sure. Where were you when I was taking the pictures of the pie?
Still with the pies.
You would have known that.
I absolutely would have known.
You would have said, don't send this to everybody.
Don't.
Don't do a group mailing of the entire contact
no,
list.
no.
Not every single casting agent and secretary and
No.
every single prop person. And you wouldn't have done that. No. You would have known better.
I would have known better, yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't know better. I said it to everybody. And that cast the whole rest of the shoot in a weird feeling. Because of everybody I sent it to, one person had the appropriate reaction. Provenz.
Sure.
Who's crazy.
Yeah.
And when you do something that you send to 75 people, and the only person that reacts in a positive way is the person that you know demonstratively is crazy, you have lost touch with your community standards. Okay, so we sent out the picture. She took a shower, and then we're in the kitchen. And what was I doing in the kitchen, Matt Donnelly?
Getting dressed or getting undressed?
Eating pie.
Eating pie.
Eating pies, leftover
Eating
pie.
pie.
So as I'm eating the pie,
Yeah.
okay, the photographer says to me, is that one of the new pies? Or is that the pie she was sitting in? I said, well, that's the pie she was sitting in. And she said, isn't that gross? And I said, pie is my second choice of what to eat. I'm not grossed out in any way, shape, or form by this. I'm very comfortable. To which the photographer said to her, oh, that's valid. And started eating the pie. And then we sat and, sitting naked in my kitchen, ate ourselves sick on pies. We probably ate more than a pie each, the three of us. And then sat around, unable to move, naked and full of pie, very, very sure that we had had the best day of our life.
Yeah.
Then,
That is why you sent it out to 75 people.
no, I sent it earlier, before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Then I went to sleep. I slept, and I woke up refreshed and happy and went, oh, I got to check my email. I wonder if, because they're going to be sending me stuff saying, boy, you're the
What a genius.
greatest person in the world.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the crew really rallied around this. We all
Yeah,
want to have the greatest day of
really
our
Yeah,
lives.
that's,
when
when
we
really,
shoot.
that's when the whole show took off. And that is not when the whole show took off.
You know, I listened. I recently read an article on MythBusters, and there was no naked pie email that went around before that show took off. on Discovery Channel.
During the creation process.
Yeah, during the
no?
creation process, there was no naked pie element.
Not naked pie sitting.
Yeah.
I think you need every one of those
Oh,
words.
yeah, I apologize. Yeah.
Yeah. The reaction from everyone other than Provenza, including Godot, was that was a little inappropriate. And then it went from this was the best day of my life to my fallback position, which was I was really tired. So Jonesy comes into the show. That's what we do. We do a show.
Your show.
Comes into the show 4 nights ago. What, Wednesday? Comes into the show
I just want you to
Wednesday.
know we have some listeners who think that 400 is not nearly enough photographs.
If someone wants to bail out how deep into debt we are in director's cut, I will give them all those pictures. So Jonesy comes in Wednesday night and says, "Did you see Better Call Saul, the new one?" I said, "No, I'll watch it a little bit later." He goes, "You got to watch it right now." I said, "No." He goes, "Oh, you got to watch it. You got to watch it." I think they got this from you. I think they got this from you. I think they got this from you. And I said, "Got what?" He said, I don't want to tell you. I want you to see it, but can you watch it tonight and text me as soon as you've seen it?" I said, "Jonesy, what's wrong with you?" He said, "It's something they got from you." I said, "Well, is it going to piss me off? Better Call Saul isn't stealing." He said, "No, they're not stealing. It's an homage." I said, "What is it?" He goes, "It's at the police station." He said, "You must have told this story." I said, I tell this story, but never publicly. It's not appropriate to tell on Penn Sunday School.
Right.
So it hasn't been told there, and it hasn't been told anywhere. He said, "But you tell it to friends, right, in Hollywood?" He said, "Do you know any of the writers on Better Call Saul?" I said, "I don't think so. I mean, they're all geniuses. I don't know geniuses." And he said, I think they got this from you. They must have got it from you." And I go, "Oh, okay." So I'm watching Better Call Saul, and it's just absolutely brilliant, as it always is. And they do that scene with Michael McKean just working on the piano piece. I mean, it's just everything I want out of art. It's coming along, and the guy gets busted, and he has to go into playing to the police, and Better Call Saul, who's now called Slippin' Jimmy, goes in and gets an idea. And they say, "What is it that your client did not want us to see?" And he goes, "It wasn't drugs. It wasn't pornography. He just does certain things he's embarrassed by." And there's pictures there. And he goes, "Well, what is it?" He goes, "Well, you guys know. You've been around. It's a cobbler squat." And he weaves this story.
Just the writing, the acting, the idea to do it in the first place, like to write yourself into that hole, and then to have that be the way that gets you out of that.
Everything about. Now, I believe that we could have parallel development here. I am not stating unequivocally that they got the idea
Right.
in the wind from me. I'm also not sure that it's not some sort of real fetish, because there is that law that everything you can think of sexually is on the.
Yeah.
I was surprised that it fully clothed,
Yeah.
but they had to do that because it couldn't be anything pornographic to make the whole joke play, right?
Right.
The whole joke is he was doing nothing except something embarrassing,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
And then they even do the scene at the end where they're eating the pie.
Yeah.
And he says, how to make him really do these videos.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, this isn't the pie. But of course, it's a different punchline. He says, no, I get extras.
Yeah.
And they're eating the pie. It's not my argument, which, by the way, of all of this story, there's a lot of crazy. But my argument eating the pie is 100% valid.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
This is the only place you're agreeing with me on this?
Yes.
This
Yeah.
is,
There's not an
No,
aspect
no, no,
of
no,
that.
no.
There's
I
not an
believe
aspect of that photo shoot you would not have eaten.
this is a funny idea. It's a good idea. You just should have sent it out.
Provenza.
Provenza would have been a good person to send that to. Me would have
Oh.
been a good person.
And let me tell you, if you just send it to, I was gonna say, if you just send it to like 10 selects, people who got it,
You're
everyone
good.
on that set would have eventually have gotten that photo,
Just in the right way.
just in the right context.
Yeah, you're right. It would have got
And
There's
we'd still
nothing
be
wrong
running
with
that
this.
show today.
Your follow through on getting the photo shoot done is amazing,
Thank you. Thank you.
and no one is suggesting that you should not have done the photo shoot or taken the photos.
Right.
That part, you are a hero.
And
if
those were really uncomfortable auditions for some reason. I have no idea
Because
why.
we had a show that sucked, Godot. That's why. It's not a mystery. There's no mystery involved in this at all. We have been involved. Bullshit is a good fucking show that we are proud of.
Yes.
It's a good fucking show that we are proud of. But you make mistakes.
We had to learn how to do a show. We hadn't done anything like
Yes,
this.
and I did bad. I did a bad job. It's not a mystery. It's not like, what went wrong along the way? It's simply incompetence. Simply bad. Bad. But the pie shoot was okay. And also, just to give you an idea of friendship here, if I called you, Matt Donnelly,
Yeah.
and said, I need you to come over to my house and take off your pants and sit on a pie for us to take some pictures, your answer would be yes.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. So I also don't want to act like, I also wanted, and I also said this, that it wasn't done in the spirit.
I would not want you to eat the pie that I sat in after I sat in it.
Okay.
Deal.
We can make that deal.
Okay.
Also, these
Razzleberry's his favorite.
these women,
I just got a birthday present idea.
the women that were involved, they are complete co-conspirators.
Yes.
What people should be picturing is people with the personalities of Matt Donnelly. I did not go to like one of the local strip clubs. And I'll tell you, going to one of the local strip clubs and convincing people to do this would be nearly impossible.
Correct.
And I'll tell you how I learned about this. I'm going to tell another story that is equally embarrassing. These are stories that I did not intend to ever tell on Penn Sunday School, but Better Call Saul has brought them out of me. But I will now tell you a story of me hiring male prostitutes and how badly that went.
You've never told this publicly?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Should I tell it publicly?
It's a really good story.
You tell me I shouldn't? Maybe I
Well,
shouldn't.
let's read the ads and let's figure